All right, we don't mess around. Mondays at 1 o'clock, we bring him in for the entire segment. Lorenzo Neal. You can also hear Lorenzo Neal, one of the greatest fullbacks in NFL history, tonight at 6 o'clock, along with Sean Salisbury. That, of course, is the football hour, so you get a full dose of Low on Mondays. And the beautiful thing about Low is all I have to do is say, Low, what'd you think of the Niners game yesterday? What's up, buddy?
I love you guys. You're the best, Steiny. That was nice and smooth. Love the transition. I want to see you guys come on with the song. Bring him in. Bring him in. You know,
bring him out. Bring him out. Bring him out.
Yeah, Goose. Goose, take care of me, kid. Nice. Oh, my God. What do you think about the Niners? What do you guys think about the NFL? Just in general. That's the question. When you look at the league and you say, oh, my God, you look at all the losses, all the talking heads, and all of us, we're going to be, oh, my God, do we buy, or do we sell? Is it Jimmy? What is it? Is Jimmy to the Cowboys? What's going on? And look around the league. Guru, how you feel today about them? How about them Cowboys? You guys going to be calling for Jimmy G now? What do you want, Guru? Tell me what you need.
Wow. Lo, if I must tell you, I had Dallas not making the playoffs before the injury, but I'll just start here with last night. Since the season came out the schedule a couple months ago, everybody laughed and assumed the Niners would beat Chicago. Lo, what was that yesterday? Because my blame, I'm not saying Trey Lance is a bust. I'd be a fool. It's too early. I understand that. But I can tell you, my friend, he did not look good yesterday, and the team collapsed. I'm putting it at the doorstep of Kyle. Is that wrong?
No, you know what? I think it's some optimism, Goo, and I think it just, it's like that sticker price. When you look at Goo, I know you got the Cadillac, but every time you look at that sticker price, like, shoot, you think about that Bentley, and I know you think about the Lexus and the Benz, and you're like, that sticker price. You're like, man, I ain't going to do it. And I think that's what we got to see yesterday. If I talk about, you guys know his name, Kyler Murray, and I talk about, what you saw yesterday, the Niners have problems. We said it from the jump. Guru, you always said it. What? A mobile quarterback. When is the Niners? What did Russell Wilson in the Seattle? Because the Niners, the way they're built, they love getting after quarterbacks. But mobile quarterbacks, we all have to admit, you too, Steiny, that the Niners don't fare well. That game yesterday, you can't be a true indication of what we're going to see. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it was a monsoon. Guys, it wasn't just drizzling. It was pouring. That yesterday, the weather was absolutely ferocious. So I'm not, here's the thing, though. I get it. Both teams had to play in it. So I'm okay with that. But if you look at Trey, and you said, did Trey Lance lose the game? You can't say that he lost the game. And here's the thing. Think about it. 3rd and 13. Playing in a slop. They see it as cover 2. They got dime on the field. Trey gets the ball in shotgun. It was a quarterback draw design. He picked up 13 yards. Because Jimmy had done that in that weather. And that's the thing that people have to realize. In that weather, no one wasn't throwing for 300 yards. Sure, does Trey have to get better? Absolutely. Trey on the interception. It wasn't a bad ball. You know what Trey did wrong on that? Guys, watch that tape again. He stared down where he was going with the ball, and the safety was able to come in there and intercept the ball because he stared it down. The pass would have got there. He put it low and inside, and he just made a mistake. Look at the Raiders game and the Chargers game. Steiny, I know you saw the play where they did the Tampa 2 or 2 Mike, where the Mike linebacker runs to the middle of the field. Waller's running down the middle of the field. If he catches this pass, if Carr puts a little bit more air in it, Waller may still be running.
Yeah.
So you're going to have mistakes. Do we bench Aaron Rodgers and say Aaron
I'm not
Rodgers
saying that.
is dumb?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you look around and just look at the quarterbacks around the league, did Shanahan or Tannehill, as I like to call him, Steiny?
Yep.
Do you run him out of Tennessee? And run him out of Tennessee? Because I'm going to tell you right now, everyone thought the Houston Texans might be the worst team in football.
Yeah. Hey, Lo, here's the one I thought. And look, I don't like to play the blame game, but let's talk about coaching for a minute because you brought one thing. All right. To me, 12 penalties, the common.
Amen.
To me, the common thing is penalties equals coaching. Okay, so that one's on Kyle. But here's the other thing. We're talking about the weather. The weather, Lorenzo Neal. Well, who is best equipped to play a game in the rain than a team with a dominating defense and the best running game in football.
Now,
the Niners.
You
can make a case. That the weather should have helped the Niners.
No question. But okay, here's the thing. You have to admit this though. When you saw quarterback Chicago, when you see him make that scramble, Armstead had him dead to rights. You guys know that. If he sacks, they're up 10-0. If and ands and buts with cannons and nuts, I know we'd all have a Merry Christmas. If they make that sack, we wouldn't have this conversation. But you're right. This team, defensively, they should have dominated. They should have kept them in the pockets. No excuse for that. They missed tackles. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Niners aren't the best running football team in football now. I just can't tell you guys. I'm just right now, and that's the biggest problem to me. It's not Trey. It's the offensive line, the inability to run to the right side of the line because McGlinchey right now is we don't know who he is anymore. I don't know if the injury hurt him. Only thing they do is run to the left side of the line. And now when you're saying the best running football team, no, they're not. Now, if this team can run the ball like it used to be able to run the ball, we don't know now. Elijah Mitchell and the guys are down. You're going to have to use Debo more. So if this team is not the best running in football, now I'm going to say it's problems. Because this young quarterback I think he's going to have a phenomenal year if they can run the ball. Because you watched yesterday when he tried to boot Guru, the defensive end was already hitting him. He couldn't even come around the outside because they didn't even respect the run. When this team is running the ball at that with those cutback lanes and that stretch zone plays, Guru, they're all heading toward the left. And now the defensive end, he cuts down the line of scrimmage because he stops the cutback. Those defensive ends were coming up the field. They said, we're going to keep this boot. Trey is not going to get outside the pocket. They did a great job of containing him and keeping him in the pocket, but the inefficiency of running the ball with consistency killed the Niners. So you're right, Steiny. This team is predicated on the run game, but they weren't able to run the ball like that we are accustomed to seeing. Steiny, they had over 100 and some yards more than Chicago. They had 99 yards penalty compared to 28 yards by Chicago. That's a difference of field of 70-some yards of field position.
Yeah, and those penalties.
Have you ever seen win a game like that? How can you win like that?
Yeah, and those penalties, some of them were, those are big penalties that result in first downs.
The quarterback, first down. Yes. Kept
no
drives
doubt.
Alive. Just dumb penalties. You're right.
Yeah. No, we're joined by Lorenzo Neal. He's going to join us every Monday at 1 o'clock, and you can also hear him every Monday from 6 to 7 with Sean Salisbury, the Football Hour with Lorenzo Neal. Let me just throw this at you. Boy, there's just so much to talk about. What did you think about 4th and 1 from their own 41 with 1 minute and 37 seconds left in the third quarter? They were up 10-7. A lot of fans saying they should have gone for that.
The field, guys. Who do you? I just don't know if they. Right now, guys. If I'm the Niners, I'm making evaluations and saying, is there a trade? Can I get on the phone, get Dallas on the phone? Do you want to trade Jimmy? Can I get a lineman? Can I get a? I'm not secure. Or is it a back out there? Do you see? Is there a running back? Because I'm telling you, if you don't have Mitchell in this running game, if you don't have these backs, if Wilson and these guys can't carry the load, it can be problems. Because this team is great at running the ball because then you set up play action, and that's why Jimmy had so much success. Because of the run, now teams can't pin their ears back because of the run. Your line didn't have to be great. But right now, if you can't run the ball with consistency, and I know the weather had a lot to do with it, both teams had to play in it, though, it's going to be tough.
Lo, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because this is one thing that stood out to me, and I came in and told Steiny, okay, hold on. When you make a draft pick, what do you want from the draft pick? Contributions, right? So you sent Trey Sermon packing, and now we were told or led to believe that this running back room was a position of strength. I'm looking yesterday, Danny Gray, speedster, Ty Davis Price, he was supposed to be something. They don't even dress, Lo. So who is that on top of you telling Sermon bye-bye, and now you got an injury to Mitchell. We don't know how long, but he'll probably be out. I'm like, why did I even think for 1 second that the running back room for the 49ers was a position of strength? Because now it doesn't look that way at all.
Yeah, I think that's a great point with Gray, though. He's a speedster, but it's hard to throw the ball down the field when it's coming down like that. Yesterday, Goo, you got guys who got to run and see the ball, and then you got.
Well, Fields did it twice. Once to Pettis. You remember him, right?
Yeah, I do. But did you see the play? It wasn't twice. You got to. That's a broken play. The guy was standing wide open. That wasn't running. He was standing waiting for the ball that floated, and he just waited for the ball and he poked. So I'm just telling you, it's hard. The ball's heavier. The ball doesn't spin as well. The velocity. So I think. So my point that I'm just trying to make on that, I just don't think that the speedster, which you're right.
Yeah.
Everyone's wondering why wasn't he up. And the point that I'm making on that, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying what people have to take in consideration. You're going to be playing on a slick track, not good footing. The speed really come in effect when speedsters, when they're track runners, their legs are close together. So I don't know if that was necessarily the reason why they lost the game. The running back and offensive line, collectively, they have to get better. But there was a lot of upsets yesterday, and I know this is a great talking, point of the Niners because they're supposed to be a Super Bowl caliber team. I just think that if the weather and different things and they look that bad, I'd be saying it because both teams didn't look bad. Both teams look bad at times. I just think the weather had a lot to do with it, but it's no excuse. The Niners should have won that game. They could take 2 plays away and it's a different ball game, but they didn't find a way to win. That's a game they looked at the schedule and should have won, could have won, had the opportunities. With 7 minutes left in the third quarter, you're up by 10, and you found a way to lose that ball game. And you didn't respond and answer the bell, and I understand your point there.
Breaking news on 95.7 The Game is brought to you by Beat the Street. For tips to win a $5.6 million prize. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, my God. All right, here you go. Both you guys, I want your reaction to this breaking news. This is from Adam Schefter, ESPN. 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell expected to be sidelined about 2 months. 2 months with a sprained MCL that he suffered Sunday at Chicago. Low. 2 months, Elijah Mitchell out. Your thoughts?
The running backs that they have on this field now on the roster is not good enough to carry this team when your offensive line is not good enough. You have a Hall of Fame type of offensive tackle. We know that. And then you have guys. Let's just be real. And those particular guys have to get better. And Kyle Shanahan now is going to make sure that he has to scheme and do other things because until you can run the ball, guys, to that left side or the right side or whatever side you're going to run that zone stretch read, you are not going to get those ends to collapse and come down the line of scrimmage. They're going to stay home and they're going to take away the bootleg. So this young quarterback is going to have to win in the pocket.
Oof.
But if you're not strong at the guard, and if you're not strong guys at the guard and center position, you can have the best tackle in the world. But when the quarterback, this, Goo and Steiny, he wants to step up in the pocket. But if you're guard and center, you don't know which guard or which center is going to get beat. You can't step up in the pocket because the pocket is being collapsed in your pocket. It's being collapsed in your lap. So the Niners are going to have to find a way to do certain things. Look for them now to say, okay, Trey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use that ride offense, the read offense, where you just hand the ball in the middle and you ride it in the stomach through the line, and then he pulls out, tight end, pop pass, look for the other receivers. It's a 1-2, quick, getting the ball out of his hand. I think the Niners are going to go more to that. That's what I would do if I'm Kyle Shanahan. That's where the linemen, the running backs in the backfield, quarterback rides him into the line. As he rides him into the line, the linebackers are coming up the field. Tight end's going to be able to pop up. It's our receivers, and he's just going to be 1, 2, 3 and get the ball out of his hand. I think you have to go that until people can respect you, and you got to have some success, or guys are going to just stay home.
Low. So they got Jordan Mason, Ty David Price, who didn't dress. The rookies, youngsters. Do you go try to see what you get off the wire or whatnot, or is this who you brought to the dance and you're about to see if they can move?
Oh, I tell you what, man, you bring them to the dance, but Guru, when you bring them to the dance and you just bring them to the dance, you ain't married to them. So I think that you got to realize, without a doubt, you don't think the Niners are brought in and going to bring in some running backs this week for working out and trying guys out and seeing what they have? You have to. And that's what John Lynch, that's what GMs do. You got too many injuries, you got injuries, you got to get somebody that's not a rookie. You got to get somebody that's a veteran, that is a proven commodity in this league, and that's what the Chargers went out and they went out and said, hey, okay, what'd they do? They went out and got a veteran running back, even though they had some backs. They went out and got a veteran running back who played in New England, also went into the Super Bowl with the Rams. The Chargers, the Niners are going to have to find someone that they can know that has been reliable and has had some wins in this league.
Lorenzo Neal joining us on 95.7 The Game. He'll do so every Monday at 1 o'clock. And also, you can hear Lorenzo Neal at 6 o'clock tonight, along with Sean Salisbury, the Football Hour. All right, Lo, I'm going to play devil's advocate. All right, devil's advocate. Doesn't mean I believe it.
No.
But I want to just present something. I hear the Super Bowl window, Super Bowl ready. Who the hell says? Let's look at this team for a second. They were 1/2 away from not making the playoffs last year, okay? Their offensive line right now is I don't want to say in tatters, but it's a weakness. You may be using a quarterback this year who is not even as good as Jimmy Garoppolo and who is completely inexperienced. You have a secondary that looks like it might be okay, but it's young. It's young, and it's going to probably improve. But, why do people think this is a Super Bowl team when they've had weaknesses?
Because I think you look around the league, though, Steiny, to your point, I think when you look around the league, who's dominant in the NFC? I mean,
True.
The NFC.
Good point.
It's open. You look at look at Tampa, look at Dallas, look around the NFC. Guys, it's really not that. There's no team. There's no dominant team necessarily in the NFC.
No doubt.
Look at the Rams. They got motorboated. So when you look at the Niners, I think with this offensive line, honestly, guys, I think this is the best move to go with the young guy because he's going to watch the tape again, guys. Watch the all 22 and watch what he did on some of those 3rd downs and 2s and 3s where it was nowhere to go and he made things happen with his feet and getting out of trouble. I'm just telling you, how many times he got sacked yesterday? 3 or 4. Jimmy would have got sacked 7 or 8 because they're not, and that wouldn't be, there's no disrespect to Jimmy. It's just right now the line's got to get better. And guys, it's a one game. Don't jump off the bandwagon just yet. Let's see this thing play out. Let's see with Kyle Shanahan, the mastermind, the genius, as everyone likes to call him.
Oh, come on, Lo.
Let me ask you this about Debo's usage, because when he was holding out, I was telling Steiny, and a lot of other people chimed in, he don't like the way he's being used. They won't go to that, Debo jet sweep until, week 8 or 9. But Lo, he was one carry away from leading the team in rushing from the running backs. Are you surprised at how much he got the ball yesterday used that way?
No, because here's what we remember last year. You're like, man, hey, look, I said they're not necessarily going to pay him. They're going to wait to see what these other guys, Cooper Kupp and all, get paid. But Debo was in a situation where he's like, look, if you want me to just play receiver, then you pay me. Okay, boom. I'm not going to go run the ball. Debo had to get paid for this reason because I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to use him. Hello, get ready, load up. Debo's going to come in effect. Debo Samuel, because you got this now. You're talking about. I guarantee you right now, Guru. Sure as Monday come after Sunday, the speedster receiver that you said wasn't up yet last week, guarantee he'll be up this week.
All right.
I guarantee it. He's going to be up. Watch, because you're going to have to use Debo more in the running game because he's your best running back on your team right now, by far. So without a doubt, Debo's going to be used. And no, it's not going to surprise you at all how much usage he's going to get.
All right, Lo, love you, buddy.